Hey everyone, this is Hollywood Junket. My name is Craig Ries, and we are very excited to be interviewing two contestants from this season's The Voice. They actually just battled each other in the battle round of The Voice, and luckily, both of them are moving on because one was picked by their coach and one was saved by another coach. Without further ado, this is Alyssa Witrado and Ian Harrison. And guys, welcome.
Thank you so
Hi.
much.
Thank you for joining us. So, like I said, you both were on the same team. It was Team Gwen. Alyssa was chosen to stick around with Team Gwen. Ian was almost out the door, and then Team Legend stepped in and saved the day. Ian, how did that make you feel?
Let me tell you, it was a roller coaster of emotions right there. You don't expect it on that stage. You have this sort of acceptance of that was it and you're happy, and content. And man, it really puts you up on a pedestal right there when they hit their button and save you. It really adds a lot of emotion into it.
I bet. I can't even imagine. So, what did you both learn from working with Sean Paul during your rehearsals for battles?
I think something that he told us and paid a lot of attention to was our body language. I feel like that was a big thing where we have to try to get into the song and actually think about what the lyrics are telling us and then acting that out on stage while also having our vocals be really good. But I feel like that was my biggest takeaway from that.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of it was during rehearsal with Gwen and Sean. He was pretty adamant on the fact that we weren't always looking at each other, and we're looking at our coaches. Obviously they're two giant stars, so it's kind of hard to avoid eye contact with them. Where I mean, we did a lot of rehearsal of just us looking at each other and making sure that we're getting the emotion into the song.
Definitely. Well, speaking of that song, Happier Than Ever is a very difficult song. It changes with emotion, it changes with singing styles. I'm sure you've heard this cover of it, but Kelly Clarkson actually did an amazing cover of it and released it. And I'm just like, there's not many artists that can cover this song correctly. So that is quite challenging. And so, yeah, what were the challenging parts for both of you about having to perform this song?
Do you want me to go?
Yeah, take it.
Okay. Sorry. I think that for me, I feel like the most challenging thing was I've never sang with another person ever in my whole life. So this was the first time I ever did a duet with anybody. And I'm glad it was with Ian because he was very, very he was very hands-on with the whole thing and was very respectful of me. And we both try to give each other our moments to shine and everything. So I appreciated that. I think it was also just like I said, the whole body language thing. I don't know. I feel like I was confused for a little bit, and also so it wasn't awkward at first, but me and Ian we could not look at each other without laughing for a little bit, but we worked on it more and it got better as we rehearsed.
I'd say for me, it was the lyrics. I mean, number one, knowing that song beforehand and just absolutely loving it and singing it all the time. I actually had it in a set list at one point, but we had to change those lyrics ourselves. That's not something that is done. And so that was really hard because you really get used to a song and the words that are sang in the song, and the memorization of the new lyrics was way harder.
Oh, agree. We couldn't drop F-bombs on TV.
I think that would be so hard, to because the curse words in that song are also poignant. There's a reason she used them. So it's kind of sad when you have to hear the PG version. But it is what it is.
That's another thing. Even when we first found out what we were singing, we had no other words at that point. We had to use the other words because or else we skip parts of the song.
Yeah.
Were you scared you were gonna slip?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
I would be too. There's
I
no
was
way.
scared it was gonna come out next to Gwen, and if I did, I would have been like, uh-oh.
About to get bleeped on national television.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Oh
funny.
man, now I kind of want to see that, but I'm glad you didn't. I'm glad you didn't. Another question about this song, then we'll move on to some other stuff. But I do love that it's kind of split up into personalities. So not only do you have to get the lyrics right, but you really do have to emote differently in different sections of the songs. Did y'all rehearse that, or was that a key point in your rehearsals leading up to the performance?
It definitely was a key point, especially with Sean and Gwen. Gwen really emphasized the beginning of the song. And for me, when we first started that song, I was singing the first verse in my higher register.
Mm-hmm.
And then I kind of came to a realization that if we wanted to get emotion right, like it wasn't an option and I wasn't able to do that. And so we changed some things around.
Yeah. Going off of what Ian said, Gwen really wanted us to focus on the beginning of the song because I feel like that kind of just sets the mood for the rest of it. And so she told us to be like more like theatrical in a way. So
Yeah.
we're supposed to be more like, and also the song is just really sarcastic. So I feel like we put those emotions into it, and I think that it worked really well.
It definitely did. The reason I do have a few questions about this song in particular is I think it was one of the best ones on the battle. So congratulations on that.
Hey, thank you.
And I think
Thank you.
you're welcome. I sincerely believe or mean that. And yeah, that's a very challenging song and y'all nailed it. And that's why you both are still on the show. So I think that speaks volumes. Ian, just a quick question for you. We all know that both you and John are from Ohio. Have y'all connected on that level at all? And if so, how?
Yeah, to an extent. Pretty much every time that I actually like had an interaction with John, it was always like he'd always bring up something about he's like, "What up, hometown boy?" or something like that. He was very adamant and loved the fact that we were both from like the same area.
Well, now that you both have different coaches, can you tell us fans, us viewers, something about your coach that we may not know?
Okay, I will talk about Gwen because I love this woman. She's like one of my favorite people ever. I feel like me and her have like a really good connection with each other. I feel like me and her get each other, but something that I feel like people might not know is just how humble she is and how caring and like comfortable that she makes you during rehearsal. Like I told her this, she calls me her daughter, and I feel like she's like my mother. Like she gives motherly vibes, but like in the best way possible. She just feels like a very like comforting human being to be around. Oh my gosh, sorry, my dog was shaking.
You sound great. I didn't hear anything. You're great. You're doing great.
I'm sorry.
I'd say the same thing though. I mean, John, like absolutely most chill person when you walk into the room. Like he is always going to make you feel comfortable. He's always going to do everything to make you feel like nothing's out of pocket, nothing's weird. He's perfect skin. That's one thing I definitely noticed when you get close to him. You're like, wow, your skin is really good.
Good to know. Good to know. You know, I didn't have this written down, but Alyssa, just a quick question. How did you get into No Doubt Gwen Stefani? Because I bought that CD when it came out. I think I was in 6th or 7th grade. I still have that CD actually. But you weren't even born yet. No, like years actually.
Yeah, I
So
mean it was quite a while.
how'd you find out about it? I'm interested.
I think from both of my parents, definitely. My mom was also a really big Gwen fan, but my dad really liked No Doubt. My dad actually introduced me to the song, and I feel like the first time I heard Don't Speak was on an episode of King of the Hill.
Okay.
But like but like my parents both introduced me to her music, and I feel like I've gotten influenced a lot by that type of music and just classic rock music in general.
Yeah.
And so that's how I found
I
about
love that. And now I'm gonna go back and listen to that whole album today.
it's so good.
Oh, it's so good.
Woo! I love that
I
album.
guarantee I can sing every song in order just from like memory. So yeah.
Same. I think Spiderwebs and Sunday Morning are my favorite.
Yep.
So good.
Well, final question, guys. This is maybe a little bit of a long one. Just kind of answer what you want to, but we as audience members definitely saw changes and improvements from your rehearsals going into the final performance at the battles. So kind of speaking about getting ready for the knockouts, what can we expect from the knockouts, and what did you learn from your coaches this round and prepping for this next part?
Ian.
Yeah, I would say that like what you can have to look forward to knockouts for my performance is just I feel like it's really me. Like as me as any performance that I'll have on the show.
Love that.
I'd say that's the biggest thing. I feel like John was really big on pushing me towards that and trying to make sure we found that sweet spot.
That's awesome. Alyssa.
I think that my knockout performance is probably something that no one else has seen yet from me, and also a lot of energy.
Cool.
A lot, maybe too much. I'm just kidding. But I think that my biggest takeaway from coaching for knockouts was Gwen, honestly, she didn't really say anything vocal wise, but stage presence wise, she helped me a lot. And I remember going on stage and just working with her on that. She literally was like, okay, show me like what you want to do. And then she just gave me advice from there. But my biggest takeaway from that was just stage presence and working
Awesome.
on that.
I love that. Guys, great answers. Thank you so much for a great interview today. I really appreciate it.
Hey,
Of
thank you so much for
course.
having us.
You're
We
welcome.
appreciate it. We
Oh,
appreciate you.
my pleasure. Thank you so much. Again, guys, this is Alyssa and Ian. Ian, now Team Legend, Alyssa, Team Gwen, and they're still in the show. So definitely check them out during the knockout rounds. Guys, we will interview other artists as they make it further through the show. Means I really hope to interview you again, because that means you've made it further. So I hope this isn't the last time I get to talk to both of you, but thank you again for your time today. We definitely appreciate it.
Thank you
Thank you
so
so
much.
much,
Thank
Craig.
you, guys.
Appreciate it.
Again, this is Craig Ries with Hollywood Junket. You can check out all our interviews here on our YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you next time. Bye.